I'm listening to Jennifer Hudson show. I keep TV on Channel 5. I love all these shows on here. But Jennifer Hudson, and she has Holly Pete Robinson and her husband on her show. I absolutely love them. I love their marriage. I love their relationship. I used to love when I love their family. I used to love when they had their reality show on. And I'm seeing them on here. They look amazing. And they have a new reality show, Queen something on Peacock. I missed it. It went through too fast. Queen. I wish I could go on that show and they find me a husband. You got to know what you want. That's what she said. I think I know what I want. I think I know what I want. That's probably why I don't have a husband because I don't know what I want. I think I know what I want. No, I want to be married. I definitely do. Just jelly apple. I love these. Mm. Marriage has to be fun, right? hmm I'm going to vote early. I plan to. Voting starts today in my area. Early voting. Hello, Ashar. Where you from? Hmm? Mm. Like you? Mm-hmm. That's sweet candy. That was my last one. Wow, that had 183 calories. A bag of potato chip has 140 or something like that. But it's full of fiber. Mm-hmm. Wow. Let me share a point with you. Mm. Mm. What is your top priority? And I know other people will watch this video afterwards, so I want to get to a point where I'm leaving some pertinent information. What is your top priority? Now, base your top priority on what's most important. If you're a parent and your top priority is the wealth, health, and development of your child, then everything else comes after that because that's your top priority. But the balance is you can't take care of your top priority without some income, some source of income. So, as well as the children are top priority, work has to be a top priority. Income, income, work and income. Work can be from any number of sources, whether you work for someone else, work for yourself, if you're working, you know, however, work for yourself or work for someone else. I guess those are the options, right? My mentality is I'm an entrepreneur to the core. So, yeah. And I've always worked for other people and I've always worked for myself doing something. So, what is your top priority? At different points and stages in our life, we have to sometimes change our top priority. Like as a mother, a single mother, raising children, my top priority was my children, of course, and working. Once upon a time, it was my children, and I was on welfare for you probably until 1992, from like 80, maybe how long? 87 to like 92, 80, something like that. Yeah, it was. And during that time, I wind up having three children in the midst of 87 to 8 to 90, 87 to 92. I had three children. And my top priority was making sure that I get them to school, that I feed them, that I keep their clothes clean, and that I keep a roof over their head. Those were my top priorities. Life was about whatever was about pertaining to them. I was a very involved mom. I was always at school, whether it's good or bad. And I had to spank. Yeah, three sons. I have a friend. Hey Tracy, if you get a chance to see this, I used to tell her I would line my kids up like and make them pull down their pants because I don't want to hit their legs. I don't want to hit their arms. I'm not going to smack them in their face because I feel like that's demeaning, So wouldn't treat my kids like that. But I'm going to beat that butt. The Bible said there's a place provided for them. I would make them pull their pants down, lean over the bed because I'm not struggling with you either. And I would beat them like bump, 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 bump. And one of my sons said, "We wish you would have just beat us and not talk during the beating because it made it longer. You get the lesson. You should have got the lesson. You shouldn't put me through this. You shouldn't have put me through having to beat what I love. I love y'all. You think it makes me feel good? That's where that didn't come from, I believe. This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. So I don't want to have to beat what I love. I want to have to hug what I love. I want to encourage what I love. I want to build up what I love. I want to edify what I love. And all of that is useful to help edify. When you have to put that rod of correction on them, yeah, that's edifying. They need it. They need it. Believe what you want to believe. I believe that. Anyway, but yeah, I used to spank them on their rubbery butts, their behind, because they were my top priority. And I wanted to raise men who were not misfits to society. I didn't want them doing things that would not bring them positive results or rewards. Life is about actions and consequences and rewards. So, of course, I want to teach them everything that would bring them rewards as much as possible. At the same time, learning what brings rewards because I was a young mother raising children. You know, I made choices and decisions that you, I'm sure, feel as though they were not the best choices, and I may agree with you at times. But having my children as a top priority has always been my goal. But as I mentioned, what becomes your priority as time goes on, that changes. There was a time when I had to take custody of my children, my nieces, which were my children at this point, my nieces and nephews. At that point, trying to maintain my children, my sister's children after her passing, my mom's health, my education, all of that at the same time. Dang. And I thank God that I made it through all of that. I was able to graduate. I was able to acquire the skills and the knowledge that I needed to in that field that I embarked on, and I completed it. And I got my doctorate in the midst of losing family members and things of that nature. And at that time, my priority came something different. My sister passed. She had benefits from her job and things of that nature. My priority was I want to get absolutely everything that my nieces and nephew were entitled to from my sister's job and the allocations that she had out there. That was my top priority. Still trying to balance my children. Still trying to balance myself and my mom's situation who was around at the time. You know, so your priority changes. I'm at a place right now in my life when I am the priority. Woo-hoo! But it doesn't exempt me from still keeping a balance of other things because I want to see how my children are doing. I want to stay connected because those are my most valuable assets in the earth. My representatives of me in the earth. And may they be kind to you. Be kind to them too. Don't treat my family like trash. What? But anyway, may they be kind to you. May we be kind to one another. And those are my representatives in the earth, my grandchildren. And we're still, getting the rain on them. Have to discipline. And then they are flourishing and they are maturing and they are evolving to these adults in many forms because they have ideas and opinions right now at the ages where they are. And that's based upon their surroundings, based upon, I like that nucleus family concept. That nucleus family, that is you, if you're married, your spouse, and anything that comes from underneath you comes underneath you, making sure you're okay. And it's not to say that your nucleus, and then you may have siblings, and your husband or your wife may have siblings. So those are all nucleuses too. But staying connected to those nucleuses, making sure that all of those little nuclei, I don't know, maybe I'm saying it wrong, but that the nucleus of each pod is healthy because that builds a family tree that lasts because the roots are going down and there's life happening. There's life happening. So thank you, Edward Cyril's. I appreciate you. Christian, hello, I'm fine. How are you? Ah, thank you. African ivory. I don't think I've ever been called an African ivory. What is Costa? Coste? Yeah, but your priorities change over time, and for good reason. And so right now, What's a priority to me is my health. And me being on this social media is all a part of this priority of my life. Try and get me as healthy as possible, that I can live as long as possible, so that I can be around to enjoy the fruit of my tree, which are my children and my grandchildren and my siblings and my siblings' children and my cousins and my cousins' siblings' children. All of that, all of that, all of that. And how about coming in contact with you? That makes me so happy. It really does. So, what's your priority? Set a priority. If you need to be the priority right now, then make you the priority. And furthermore, your priority has to have different, like there's different aspects of having a priority. You might be in having a priority when it comes to your children, but as I mentioned, you also have to have an income to take care of those children, some sort. So at the same time, that's your economic health that matters. And then your emotional health, make sure that you're well enough to be able to take care of those children if they're your priority. Yeah. Thank you, Christian. You speak French? Okay. I don't speak French. I would love to be able to speak Spanish. And I've had courses, I've taken Spanish in high school, Spanish in college, and the fact of the matter is that I don't know how to speak Spanish fluently. So no, I don't know how to speak French either. I know I believe I can say oui, and I think that's yes. I may be wrong, but correct me if I am. I'm not beyond correction. So in the midst of setting a priority and being able to see the benefits of what you bring to an environment, what you contribute, dropping some points of view, some nuggets that somebody can benefit from. And that's what I like to do. I like to be able to contribute. And I'm going to use the social media network because, like I said, I was a single mother. And a single mother, as a single mother, I had to do some things to make sure that I kept income coming in the house because those were my kids. They were my priority. And I wanted to give them money, and I didn't have money to give them. So they wanted to work. I wanted them to have things. I found that circular, there was a company that gives out circulars. They put all the different store circulars in a bag and they want you to deliver them. So where I was working at the time when I was working for the prison, I wasn't far from that manufacturing where they pack the circulars. I got into a contract with them to do some work with them, excuse me, all for the purpose of my children. I would pick up the bags on my lunch hour. So guys would just throw them all in my car, my station wagon at the time, throw them all in there, and I get them home. This was on a Friday. I would always pick them up on a Friday. First thing Saturday morning, me and them, we were out in Union, New Jersey, putting them all on the stairs. You know, my three sons, and sometimes it was my nephew, sometimes it was, just a help. So the fact is whatever they earned, I think it was, I want to say it was like $100 or something like that. I would give them, I think 30 each, and I would use the rest for gas. It was something like that, maybe 120 because I would split it up like that. But I would just use the money for gas because I would wait that time for them to do it, drop them off at one street and meet them at the end of the street. Yeah, but I taught them economics. I taught them, I used to allow my children to go out and raise money at with the church. You know, we were raising money for different things. People are generous and they want to give, and we did things with the money in the ministry. So somebody might look at it as, oh, you got your kids out there begging. You got your kids out there begging. I stood on bread lines. My kids wasn't begging. I was teaching my kids principles. You know what those principles were? Everybody not gonna say no to you. Just ask the right person, and then you'll get your yes. And keep asking until you get your yes. Because you can ask a whole lot of people, and they may say yes, but the one that fulfills the yes is the one that that gave it contributed to the blessing of it all. So I used to let them glean. I used to let them raise money, and I would reward them. Maybe we'll eat pizza or do this or that, the other, as a reward for them and their accomplishments. But we didn't take advantage or use the money for our purpose at all. But the fact is that it taught them you can do, you can be rejected. Rejection is not the worst thing in the world. Everybody gets rejected. So take a no, deal with it. No's hurt your heart, and you live through it. And they're out there, they're with each other, they're having fun, they're laughing, they're running, they're burning off energy. That was one of the best parts about it too, because it was an activity. So they're running around, they know burning off. So by the time we do calm down and settle ourselves, you ready to rest. You ready to have dinner, which I'm gonna always prepare. And then we're ready to calm down, hold a conversation in the night and start the next day. So those are the things that I was teaching my children as I was having these experiences because I want to turn everything to something positive. Yep. When I used to have to walk from one side of town all the way to the other side of town because I was low on food, yes, I would stand in those lines and we would walk from one side of town to the next to get that food just so that I could have something to cook. Whether they um, felt bad about it or not, I didn't know. In the midst of that, they know where we were going. It wasn't like I was like advertising. I wouldn't even let my family know because it wasn't my family problem. It was me and my household and the lack that I was dealing with. And what did I have to do to improve that lack? I'm thinking all the time. So yeah, so I did different things. Or I cut, I remember back in the day, and I wonder if people are doing that now, if they are buying big old, cases of chicken. Because we used to buy cases of chicken for like $20 back in the day, and then you would cut the legs and the thighs off. Sometimes you cook the whole quarter, make a whole meal. Everybody get one. That you know how to balance it out. You put eight in the pan. That's two meals. Two dinners. You fix it up the next day, or you cut all the back parts off of it. I'll eat the back part all by myself, whether it's fried, boiled, as long as that little bone part is in there, I like that. I'll fry those up back in the day. I used to be able to fry back in the day. Probably I was baking it. I'm not a good fryer, so I probably didn't do it that much. But yeah, I used to eat those parts. And the legs and the thigh, I would, you know, divvy them up. I remember Murray steak. Murray Steak was everything because they would do that buy one get one free. So I have boys, so you get 12 12 burgers, 12 chicken patties. So buy one get one free. I'm buying like 3 packs, so I'm getting like 6 packs, and they didn't give you a limit. So I would get a lot because when they come home from school, they
eat. They always had that to eat. There was different times when I had lack, and there were different times when I had plenty. That's why one thing about life is that you keep on moving. You keep on moving. Keep doing what you got to do. We go through our challenges. We go through our hard times. We go through our experiences. Those things that make us stronger, those things that build resilience in us. I'm a resilient person. If one word to describe me, I'm resilient. I get knocked back. I go through my challenges. I go through my upsets. But what else? I'm going to wallow in it. And I might stew in it a little bit, but I know I'm not going to stay in it. I might stew in it, but I'm not going to stay in it. So as I stew in it, I'm thinking how I'm going to get out of it. And yeah, you might get while you in the steward of it all, you might get to a place where it's uncomfortable. And it's supposed to become uncomfortable when you stew in it. Because of the fact that the stew is heating up. And it's supposed to, you'll get mixed up in the whole concoction of life if you stew in it too long. And then your identity will become meshed with everything else in that stew pot. And it will be very hard to distinguish what you are if you stew in it too long. So you want to get out of the stew so that you can what? That's my thought all the time. I'm resilient. I'm scraping to climb the walls. Yup. Let me show you what I said. Let me. I'm gonna show you why I be trying so hard to walk because I'm practicing. Let me see if I can. I probably can't. Look at me. I'm trying to, because I used to be able to lift my leg up and put it up on this counter once upon a time. So, and I can't right now. I feel like I used to be able to. But yeah, so now I'm my priority. I'm my priority. So I can get my quality of life back because I'm not staying in it, and I got into a situation where I got pulled into a health issue and I did everything I could to get out of it. And then right after I got out of it, I got into it again. So I was like, oh my God, it wasn't easy, but I'm resilient. So I'm going to keep on coming out of it. I'm going to keep on coming out of it. And then when I get to that level of understanding, that level of comfort, that level of discipline, I don't want to stew in that too long either. I don't want to. Yep, I know how to walk. I'm now. I want to stand for 4 hours straight because I did it before. I can't stand for 4 hours straight right now without getting tired. If I was able to dance for 4 hours, woo, dance for 4 hours before, I should be able to dance for 4 hours now or longer. And so that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm building up. That's my priority. Honestly, if you only knew, that's my priority. Because I feel like I'm recovered at least to where I was before when I can at least dance for 4 hours without needing to sit down. That's my priority. To be able to stand up longer. Because if I can stand up longer, then I can do more while I'm standing up. I can cook longer. I can clean. I can dress myself. I can enjoy activities with my children, with my grandchildren. Oh, while I'm going through the beautiful things of my life, I have found some things that when my grandkids are over, they get to do what they want to do. And what they want to do is always acceptable because, we keep a rein on, their ability. They like to stand up on the furniture. But when I catch them, I'll be getting them. You know, they too big to be standing up on furniture now. Back in the day when they were smaller, they could stand up on furniture. It was not a problem. But now your weight will dent a hole in furniture. So I guess it said, Grandma, if you not denting a hole in the furniture when you sit down, one of my grandkids would be so wise to say such a thing. Why you think we would? So I can't say you'll dent a hole in the furniture. Because then they'll turn that back on me. But I would welcome that. So I'm gonna end this with a little conversation. My little granddaughter, she calls herself giving me a joke, right? And she likes to tell me jokes. But this particular joke, she says, what goes up and never moves? Anybody know what goes up but never moves? If you would put it in the comment. When you do get a chance, if you get a chance to listen to this video, what goes up and does not move? Dun, 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 dun. That's a Jeopardy question. So I couldn't figure it out. She says, hint, Grandma. She says, you don't like going up them. And I said, stairs. Oh, she was right. So she gave me a nice joke, and we were able to laugh out loud. And if I was able to get on the floor, I'd say we were rolling on the floor laughing out loud, but that wouldn't be true. Hope you have a fantabulous day.